Okay, what's going on? I know I had a video yesterday, but we just got some more information in from the developers and everything, got some more stuff. And some of the updates I talked about in the other video, I wanted to show you guys what we have now. And like I said, this game is as you can tell, it's my passion. This I put a lot of work and effort into this, and a lot of this is really starting to pay off. And over the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot of uh, things with the game as well as the gameplay. Again, you can see that we're running 11 on 11, 12 on 12, 8 on 8. And just for people that had questions about that, because they seen the last video and they seen some things in there about 8 players on the field. Well, in practice, you can have 2 players on the field. You can have, well, I'm sorry, 4 players on the field. You can have up to 2 players aside on the field, or not up to, but 2 players as little as 2 players on the field, or 4 players on the field at one time. Kind of getting mixed up here. And then you can have up to whatever the style calls for. So if it's an arena, you'll have 8 players aside on the field. If it's American, you'll have 11 players on the side, and you'll have on Canadian 12 players aside on the field up to that. But in practice mode, you can actually put in 4 players on the field, 2 aside, 6 aside, or whatever, however you want to do it. And that's the beauty of that. Right now, what I'm going to show you here is going to be the play designer that we have. This is also the same play designer that we will be using for the simulator. And as you can see right here, you can create a play, and then you can also, once you create a play, then you'll be able to go in here and edit that play. You can create formations up here, playbooks. You can design plays in here. As I told you, these icons were going to be bigger, and they are. And these are just little, like I said, little things that we've had to change in here. And you'll have the position of the player and the player's name underneath each one of those icons and everything like that. And you'll see the field, and you can drop down to edit, and then you'll get a choice here to go through and edit the play and save the play, undo, and then import opposite over there. What that was you can import the defense in here. So you can make an offensive, this was an offensive play here. You'll have the preview of the play right in here, and that preview will show a little thumbnail of the play itself, and then you see the routes. You can change the routes and everything on the play, where the players go. You can add motion and stuff like that. And then defense, you'll be able to do the same thing. You'll be able to go in and add routes to the defense, and then you can match up the defense against the offense. So when you hit the import opposite button over there, you'll be able to bring in, if you're on offense, you'll be able to bring in the defense. If you're on defense, you'll be able to bring in a base offense formation or any other formation that you choose to bring in. The team here that's going to be where the roster will sit. We also have a telestrator in here, so you can record the plays, and then you'll be able to mark them up with a telestrator, with a markup like you've seen on TV. And then the customize feature here is obviously that's going to be where you're going to be able to customize the stadium, or you can customize the team. You can do a team customization in here as well. You can save your formations, save your playbooks, and then of course design them and everything in here. And this is a lot of the things that goes into the simulator. So the simulator will have all of this, but it doesn't have all the things that the game will have. And so that's going to be the big difference between the two. What I wanted to do here is also show you the what the situation that we had with in the other video, show you where the changes were actually made. What I'm showing a lot of times is the test builds and everything. So a lot of things haven't gone through production yet and gone through QA. But as you can see right here, this is where we have a little bit of crowd here in the 2D. I want to be able to give that to the 2D players and everything that like the 2D. We'll have a little crowd, and the customizations are going to be the same. So you'll be able to customize here the end zones, the 20-yard lines here between 20 and 30, the center, and everything. So there's 7 customization spots that you'll have on the field that you'll be able to customize. We have to again put the play clock in here. These up here is the settings. These little gears here, and we have this in 3D as well. And that just it gives you the opportunity to change the settings, like the volume of the crowd, the resolution and things like that. That's what that gives you the ability to change. You'll be able to import your either team logo helmets in here or just the team logo. You'll be able to put that in here as well. This takes you back to the main menu. When you play the game, you'll be able to select a run. You'll be able to select the pass. You'll show your lineup. You'll see the matchups. Actually, we may, I think we're taking the matchups out. One of these we're taking out, either lineup or matchups, because we have another place for it. But we have 2 call sheets. You have a coach's call sheet and you have a player's call sheet. So when you have a player on the field wants to change the play like an audible, then you'll be able to do that. On the coach's call sheet, you have, I think you could put up to 200 plays in there and put all the situations for each one of those plays, which is really nice. This is the team game summary right here, just like you would see in a box score. That is the same thing that you would see in a box score. So if you hit that game summary button, you'll see who's leading the game in passing, running, and so on and so forth. And then this right here will show the play-by-play for the 2D. So if there's something happens here on the play, like a penalty or somebody runs for 5 yards or 10 yards or whatever, that'll be displayed right here in text right here. And then if there's a penalty, the referee will come up and call what the penalty was, who it was on, and so on and so forth. And that is that. So what we wanted you to also see in here is when we pop over to the 3D piece here, we actually have, as you can see here, and I wanted to stop it here because I know there was some talk about, hey, you only see 8 players on the field and everything like that. Well, if you look at all of our other videos and everything, you'll see that we clearly can have 11 players on the field. We play 11 on 11, 8 on 8, 12 on 12. And the way this game works is that if you're making formations and everything, let's say you want to have practice formations, you can put 2 players aside on the field. You can put 4 players aside on the field. You can run 7 on 7s. You have an option of doing that, or you can do the full 11 on 11 if you're American, 8 on 8 if you're Canadian, 12 on 12. 11 on 11 if you're American, 8 on 8 if you're Arena, and 12 on 12 if you're Canadian. As you can see here, we have you've seen the sidelines in the last video, but now we have the crowd in here as well. And so we're going to have animated crowd in here, and that's going to be really cool the way this looks. And as you can see, we have the numbers on the players' backs. I think what we're doing here is we're going to make those numbers a little bit bigger than you see right here, so they'll show up a little bit more. We have uniform maps for each one of these, for each one of for the player model itself. So you'll have, stripes like this that you can put on, different striping combinations that you'll be able to put on the uniform, the pants, the helmet, and so on. So that's going to be very cool how we do that. We did fix that field orientation thing. You got to remember, a lot of the stuff that what I'm showing to you right now is in a test builds, and the test builds sometimes, they might have some imperfections with them, but we tighten that stuff up when we get ready to, that's all going to be tightened up when we get ready to release the game. So so there's that, and then you can see the snow and the patterns and everything. And I wanted to also show you here that the cameras are going to be we got 5 different cameras. We're going to have a broadcast camera. We have an angle camera to the left, an angle camera to the right, your traditional rear camera, and a top-down camera as well. When you get ready to execute plays in the game, you just hit the play button over here, this blue button, and then the play will run, and it'll play. And if the guy scores or if he gets tackled or whatever the case may be, that'll be in there as well. These buttons here are for the speed of the game. So if you want to run it in slow motion, You can run it with these two red buttons right here, and when you hit a button, it'll turn green. So that'll be in there. I think the only thing that's missing in here is the record button, because you can record your actual plays and then you can put them in that telestrator, which I was talking about earlier, and then mark them up and say, hey, we should probably run it this way since the linebacker is over pursuing and whatnot. So I made a lot of little tactical things in here that's going to make this great. This gear here, again, this is for the settings, like the display settings, sound volume and things like that. And then you can switch back to 2D right here. And again, I believe I may have said this, but I'll say it again. This button here is for the muting of the volume and everything like that. So all your heads up display will be up top here. The only thing that's missing is the play clock. It has the score, has the time in the game, and we have that running in real time now. The time runs and the quarter, and then where the ball is, and the only thing that's left is the button that, or not the button, but the area that has the play clock. And so this is really, I think very exciting. And as you can see, we're spanning the camera right here. This is the crowd, and wait till you hear the crowd. I thought for a minute that they didn't put the crowd up here in the top portion, but that is the overhang of this particular stadium. That's what that is. That is a overhang on this particular stadium. If we bring it back, that's what that actually is. So that's why it's there's no crowd up here. I thought this was grandstands, but it's not. But as you can see, this is an angled flyaway view of the field and everything and how it looks. We got our little security guards out here making sure everything's cool, nobody runs onto the field. We got our camera people here, and then we got players in here, and then the only thing we have to do here is put some benches in there. I think that's the last thing. But again, these are things, when I'm going through my QA, I'm looking for, what are we missing here, what are we missing there, and so we'll get those things in there. Of course, like I said, you're going to have logos that you can put on these parts of the field here, and then in the end zones and everything like that. And so this is really coming together quite nicely. Really pleased with what we have here, and you're gonna get some days. I think this is more like a overcast day, but that's gonna be a random thing in here as far as how that looks. I'm really pleased with the way the crowd is input in there, and they've taken great care in making sure that this looks good. And we might just want to back these cameras off of the sideline a little bit more, so we'll just back these guys up a little bit more. I think they're a little too close to the end line, so we want to probably bring them back around this line back here. And that's the only kind of critique I can see here. And the other thing that we're going to do is we're going to have the referee, the linesmen's, and the referee holding the down markers. They're going to be on the field as well. They're not on here yet, but that'll be in our next build. It'll have that in there. And we're just adding all these little nuances to this game now to make everything just kind of come together. And so this is really starting to really look like I want it to. I'm really excited about the visual. I grew up playing Stratomatic football. I grew up playing Avalon Hill football, Sports Illustrated football, where all you had was charts and dice, and and I loved that stuff. I really did. But one thing I always wanted to know is it would be great if we could see what was going on. Not only having the stats, but actually see what's going on the field. And that's what I wanted to create with this. So this game, you can play it, if you know very little about football, you can, pick it up and play it and call plays and everything. You don't have to be good with the joysticks and stuff like that. It's going to be played with your mind. You're going to manage through everything. So this is going to open the door for more people to play. Plus, they'll get the visual with that. It's not just going to be X's and O's and dots. It can be that if that's what you want, But if you want to see the visual and see how it plays out, this is going to be perfect for that. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to create two things, more or less the X's and O's and dots. I use personally, excuse me, I use those for designing plays, but I can design plays in 3D too, but I use the X's and O's and dots to design the plays like I would in the simulator. And then I'll run them, see how they work against the defense and so on. And I can run them in 2D and I can run them in 3D. That's the beauty of it. I can run the plays in 2D and 3D and see how they work from a tactical perspective, but I can also see how they look from a perspective of the three-dimensional realm. And like I said, there's no reason. And a lot of people tried to get me to just make a game with just X's and O's and dots and everything like that. And I said we are in a day and age right now where we have the tech to be able to make three-dimensional games and stuff like that. Why are we making stuff that's 8-bit? Why are we doing that? And I'm like, I know even in my earliest days of this project, we had three-dimensional players moving on the field, and I was like saying, why are people making games still with that look like Nintendo from the 1980s? And I'm like, we can do much better than that. So that's exactly what I took on here. And a lot of people said, this is you'll never get it done. It's a big project and everything. Well, guess what? It's done. It really is done. I'm going through the QA process right now with this. It's not a matter of if it's going to get done. It's a matter of when it's going to release. And I want to release it when we get a lot of the things cleaned up. And that's what I'm doing right now. But it's not a question of we need to add this or we need to add this or put this in and make it work. We already have 3 styles of football working right now. And all the people that sat up here and said that, like this couldn't be done and, it's going to take a long time. Well, it took a long time. It took 4 years. But it's done. It's done and it's ready to go. And I think it looks good. And I think we just need to, like I said, go through here. I need to QA and clean up some things. But the game is done. The simulator is done. As a matter of fact, the simulator was done a year ago. The simulator was finished. And so I wanted to have the game and the simulator, which is why I kind of just didn't release the simulator and everything. But we're going to either release that simulator this year or next year. I'm thinking it's going to be more or less like next year because I want to focus on the game right now and put the simulator out as a subscription application for coaches and players next year when we've probably gotten hopefully a better handle on this virus and everything, and but if not, then I'm looking at next year for that. So I built a tournament application that goes along with that simulator, so coaches can track their tournaments. They can run tournaments with that application, put the teams in there and run tournaments and all that kind of stuff. So we've done a lot of things over the last 2 years instead of just making a football game. There's a lot of things that we've done that are going to impact not only football but other sports as well. And we're working on some other, I got another project going off to the side to work on another sports title as well. That's like this, three-dimensional with, the statistical part as well. And we'll talk more about that later. But right now, I just want to concentrate on football history. And football history is going to be a historic game. By the way, we will have the players in there from 1920. It won't be in the first release because we're really concentrated on getting this done. Because there's some customization things that are different with the vintage than it is with the modern day. So we're going to release the modern day first, and then the vintage will follow with this later. So it'll be an augment to what you see here. But we're going to do go blast it out with the modern day first, and then and get our footprint out there, as I mentioned before, amongst the strategy community. And then we're going to build our own community because people are going to be taking this game. They're going to be building stadiums. They're going to be building different teams and everything. They're going to be sharing all that stuff, and I'm really just excited to see what the modding community is going to do with this, because it's going to be something that you can make your own leagues, make your own teams, and I've said this all along. People worry about the license, the NFL license and everything. My thing is, if you have a game like this, you don't need the license. What do you need a license for? I mean, people are crying over the wrong thing. They're crying over something that they can't control. This I can control. I can control what I put into this, how it works, and how I can, what experience I want to give. And so why would you sit around and cry about something that you can't control? And so I went ahead and built something that I could control, and with 2020 graphics instead of 1980 graphics. Like, a lot of people wanted me to use little sprites and stuff like that, and I'm like, why are we going there when we have the tech now to do this? So I'm using all the tech that's at my disposal, and we're gonna make something great. And we're going to make football great again, guys. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make football gaming great again. And we're not going to boil the ocean with this. We're going to start with a base, which is what we have right now. And then we're going to build on that base and build on that base and make it better and better and better. And it's going to be the greatest game out there. I have no doubt that it's going to be the greatest game out there. Now, that's just from the community that we're going to serve. It's already that. If you look at what we have right now versus what is in that community right now, this is light years ahead of that. And so, having said that, we'll be back with more video. We'll be back with more items that we're that we're putting out here. We've been putting this stuff on. The polish on this thing for the last few weeks and everything, and we're going to continue to do that. And when it's ready, we're going to put it out here on Steam. We're already set up to do that, as I mentioned before. Go on Steam. You're going to have the PC and Mac release, and then we're going to get this to the consoles right after that. So that's where we're going with that. That's the mindset that I have with this. I always said before, if you go back to my earlier videos way back years ago, I said we want to go PC and Mac first, PC and Mac first. And everybody was like, why don't you go to consoles? Why don't you go to consoles? And I'm like, because all games are built on PC anyway. And the PC community is underserved, and it's a very big community, and we can do the customization things that we want to do with this game. And then once we get our feet going, on solid ground, then you can take this thing over to consoles and everything, like Football Manager did. I mean, Football Manager started on the PC and everything. It goes back to the Commodore 64 days. And so now they are on console as well. I mean, there's a process to everything, guys. There really is a process to everything. And I learned just by building this video game, it's not as easy as a lot of people think it is. It's not as easy as just having talented developers and money and all of that other stuff. You do need talented developers, and you do need some money and everything like that, but it goes beyond that. You have to have project management. You have to have be involved in the project. You have to do a lot of little things that you wouldn't even think about. I mean, just putting players on the field where they're supposed to be positioned at on the field, where security guards are supposed to be, where how the field is supposed to look from a distance, what the level of detail is. There's a lot of things that go into making a video game. So don't let anybody sit up here and tell you that this is easy and it's just you just get some money and get some talent and everything is great. And it's not like that at all. It's not, because if it were like that, then a lot of people would be doing this. And there's not a lot of people out here doing this. Making a football game like this took a lot of planning, took a lot of due diligence, took a lot of finding the right developers, because as you know, I've gone through some developers that just couldn't do the work. And now we have developers that can not only do the work, they have industry experience, Our average developer has 10 years of experience in video games. So this is actually permeated into what you see right here, and it's going to go even farther than that. And we're going to take this thing as far as we can take it. And I want to give the community and everybody in our community, and this may not, there's several communities here, and I'm talking to the strategy football community here, not the other community. I'm talking to the strategy football community that hasn't seen anything like this, and they don't take for granted having 3D graphics, good 3D graphics, and then the gameplay to support it. So I'll be back with more. I'm gonna have I'm getting some more video this weekend of where we are with some more changes that have been made and everything. And then when we get ready for that gameplay, we're gonna go for the stats engine, and then we're gonna show you how it all kind of comes together. So with that, guys, take care, and I will see you guys later. And please, give me your feedback. I see people are viewing it out here, but I don't see any feedback. And I say I know people are watching, and some people think that it's not going to happen or it's going to fail or something like that. Well, we've already exceeded the expectations. We're not just out here saying you can get tokens and sign up and give us money for this or give us money for that. I don't want your money until we get ready to have this, put this thing on the market. So you guys take care, and we will see you later.